Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How is everyone doing this fabulous Friday afternoon? I was supposed to be doing something over here. There is a startup grant that's going to be due on the 30th. So I figured let's go through and do a walkthrough application of what grant are we going to do? What grant are we going to do today? We're going to do a startup grant because first of all, hey y'all, I'm back. Hey y'all, I'm back. So most of the grants that I do talk about are going to require LLC, EIN, business bank account, right? But there are some grants that we can do that don't require an LLC. So what I wanted to do was do one of those, okay? So first of all, when we are talking about grants, we're going to be talking about getting funding or getting money for our business that is not going to be based on credit, is not going to be based on any kind of financials, tax returns, P&L statement. There is not going to be a requirement for how long. Let me not lie. Sometimes there will be a requirement for being in business for at least a year, but most of the grants, there is no requirement of, having to be in business for a certain amount of time. So grants have a small barrier to entry, meaning it's not as complicated as getting a loan or a line of credit or financing, any of that. So that's why I am a big fan for entrepreneurs to be applying for business grants, along with we don't have to pay the money back. So if you are starting a business, growing a business, being in business, everyone knows that a business always needs money. So a lot of times people will get in debt and then they can't get out of the debt, right? So now we done made another, I'm trying to find this link. So as I'm talking to y'all. So although we've started the business, we got the inventory, we got the storefront, we got the truck, we got whatever it is that we needed. Well, the clients are not about to be running in the door on day one. So how are we going to pay these notes? How are we going to keep these lights on? How are we going to keep paying these bills? And so sometimes getting in too much debt in the beginning, being too debt heavy on the front end is going to take your business out. Okay. So let's go over how we're going to apply for a couple of grants. How does that sound? Now, you would think I would come in here prepared, right? You would think I would come in here prepared. Where is the link to the grant I wanted to do? Well, you know what? Let's just do. I know what we can do. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I gotta do all this login stuff. Okay, let me go run my mouth while I log in, okay? So when we talk about getting business grants, we want our business to stand out. So yes, the grant is going to be free money. Yes, we don't have to pay the money back. And yes, there is going to be competition. Yes, there are going to be other businesses applying for them, right? So we need to always put our best foot forward. Hold on, I got to make this account to do this grant. Hold on. People always say, is there a guaranteed grant? Am I guaranteed to get the money? Baby, you aren't guaranteed to wake up tomorrow, right? So how's there going to be a guaranteed grant? So how are we going to make our business stand out? Well, my philosophy... Hold on, y'all, because, I can't do two things at once. Lord. My philosophy is we need to always be able to compete where we can. Okay, so if I'm just starting out, I don't have that much money, I'm not a seasoned business, where can you compete with the big boys? Where can you compete? And when I say compete, what can you do to make your business compete with a big brand, okay? Or with a more established business? One area where you can compete is social media. If I were to go on Joyce Barbecue, who has been in business for 5 years, social media, and I then went on Joy's Desserts social media, if you have a branded page, if we have a nice clean logo, if you keep everything in your brand colors, if you have an iPhone or an Android, and you're taking pictures of, how the food's being prepared, how if I'm Joy's Dessert, let's just say I do pound cake, if I'm cutting the cake and I'm taking a piece out and the piece just looks moist, and I'm taking my fork and I'm breaking that piece of cake, and the piece are just the inside's just crumbling on, and I'm taking my fork and I'm breaking that piece of cake, and the piece are just the inside's just crumbling on, right? So if I have Joy's Barbecue, or show the actual storefront. If I have Joy's Barbecue, who's been in business for 10 years, and they have an established restaurant, well, they can take their camera a little past the barbecue plate, right? They can take that camera and walk around and show that line wrapped around the building. They can show the building. They probably have, a nice little bio of how the grandfather invented the sauce. We can't compete there, right? But product for product, I can compete. So my social media is going to be on point. I'm not submitting my grant application with my personal social media, but yeah, it has my business on it. But it also has me do-si-doing with Tukey and them at the July 4th barbecue, right? I'm not putting my best foot forward. Where else can a smaller brand compete with a big box brand? With that email address. Drop a 1 in the chat if we still have Gmail for our business email. Drop a 1 in the chat if we still have a Gmail address for our business email. Now, I like to lead with love, right? I like to lead with love. So with leading with love, I'm going to say, when you put Gmail on an application, it just makes you look like you have a bonnet on your business, okay? Let me give you an example. First of all, Gmail is a personal email account, okay? Gmail is a personal email. So Gmail, Yahoo, me.com, iCloud.com, they are going to be personal email addresses. No business should have a personal email address. Does Walmart have a personal email address? Does Sam's Club have a personal email address? Well, I'm not Walmart. I'm not Sam's Club. You're not, but you're in business, right? Business is business. Whether you're making $1, 100,000, 100 million, the principles of business don't change. There's not one set of rules if you make $1,000 and below. But if you make $1 million, there's a different set of rules. Well, no, business is business. Okay, so we want to have a branded email address. So info@yourbusinessname.com, customer service @yourbusinessname.com. When someone looks at Gmail, it just makes you be like, oh, you're not serious. So if you're not serious about something small, I don't know if I can trust your brand, your product, or your service. I just had a consultation with a cabinetry company, and they're just growing, right? It's a cabinetry. They do cabinets and like granite for homes, but instead of just, selling it to homeowners, they have now partnered with several of the larger builders in the area, and their business has gone from like $500,000 to $500,000 to $4 million in a year. They're just growing because they have a great product. You got to have a great product. But, once one builder likes them and uses them in the, in the entire floor plan for their home, for their subdivision, they're getting referral to referral to referral. So he was bidding on a bid with one of the biggest builders in his area, and the guy told him, your bid beat everyone else's, but he said, I can't sell you to the board because you just don't look as professional. And he kept saying what do you mean? And I asked him, well, what was your email address? And he said, Gmail. I said, yeah, no one's about to cut you a check for multi-million and you have a G, because it just acts like you don't care about anything else. Not saying it's true, not saying if you have Gmail, I'm not saying all that. It's just what it looks like, right? So another way that you can compete, even if you're a startup, going to have a branded email address. Third but not least is going to be having a landing page or a website, right? So when someone when someone types in your business name, something pops up regarding your business, a logo, your email address, about you, your product or service. Boom, you can compete with the big boys at those on those areas. Okay, social media, website, email address, logo. I have seen some fire graphic designers on Instagram. You can get you a nice logo for $200, right? Content, sell your business. Now, mind you, how you do your content may be different. Like I said, if I'm making plates out of my house, I don't have the luxury of showcasing a restaurant behind me, but I bet you my product, my barbecue plate, is going to be able to stand next to all the big boys, right? So wherever you can compete, that's where you want to compete. And I didn't even say LLC, because you need to have an LLC to be treated, number one, seriously. Number two, you're asking someone for free money. So let's at least put some work into our business and kind of invest in ourselves before we ask for someone for money. Because although there are startup grants, right, where you don't have to have an LLC, do we want to be like on the minimum, on like the bottom part of the stack, or do we want our application at the top? Do we want to kind of outshine everyone else so that we stand out? Okay, so I can't make this login, so we're going to just talk about this grant. So this is going to be the Entrepreneur Grant by Busy.com. If you have my grant bundle, this is going to be number 341 in the business grant bundle. If you don't have my business grant bundle and you want to get it, just type in grants in the comments and a link will be sent to you. Okay. So they have an entrepreneur grant for $2,500. Now they have a couple of grants. They have a young entrepreneurship grant. It's going to be for $2,500. This is going to be for a student, high school, undergraduate, graduate, or trade school, a U.S.-based high school, trade school, university, have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and have an interest in starting a business. So if you got any kids on here, any college students, any trade students, if you have a child who's in college or a trade school and they have like a little entrepreneurial spirit, we have the Young Entrepreneur Scholarship Grant, and this is going to be by Busy, Bizee. Okay, now the Fresh Start Grant is going to be a grant for startups. Okay, here are the requirements. The Fresh Start Grant is going to be $2,500 to put towards startup costs. You have to be 21 years or older, a U.S. resident, and must be planning to start a new business or grow an existing business in a significant way. There's an online application, and they want a 2-minute video telling about how entrepreneurship will impact your life. So, most of the online applications, because I can't get this login right now, are going to be asking you one of 5 questions. Number 1, why did you start your business? Number 2, what challenges have you faced in your business? Number 3, what makes your business unique or stand out from the competition? Number 4, why do you need the money? And number 5, what are you going to be doing with the money? Here's why I always say that you do not need a